Have you ever wondered how an island, once a bustling hub of trade and tourism, could survive over 6 decades in isolation? This is the Enigma of Cuba, a vibrant land of contrasts, its rich colonial past now shadowed by stark isolation. How did this tropical paradise, once a popular resort for Americans and a haven for notorious mobsters, end up so drastically detached from the rest of the world? The answer lies in a word that has defined Cuba's fate for over 60 years: embargo. This economic and trade barrier has not only strained Cuba's international relations, but also reshaped its economy, forcing the island to adapt and survive in the face of towering obstacles. Cuba's story is one of resilience and survival, a testament to the indomitable spirit of its people. But to fully understand this tale, we need to delve into the historical context that led to this prolonged isolation. So let's dive deep into the events that led to Cuba's long-standing isolation. Before we can understand the isolation, we must first look at Cuba before the revolution. In the heart of the Caribbean Sea, the island of Cuba was a gem, a canvas painted with the vibrant hues of colonial history and natural resources. Spanish colonizers first arrived in the late 15th century, and for almost 4 centuries, Cuba remained under Spain's iron grip. This era was marked by the cultivation of tobacco, sugar, and coffee, resources that would later shape the country's economic future. As the 19th century drew to a close, Cuba wrestled its independence from Spain, only to find itself under the influence of another global power, the United States. The dawn of the 20th century witnessed an influx of American capital, transforming Cuba into what seemed like an extension of the U.S., with Havana evolving into a playground for America's rich and famous. The American influence seeped into Cuba's economy, politics, and culture, fostering a climate of prosperity. Yet, beneath the veneer of wealth and glamour, there was a darker side. The age was rife with corruption and inequality. The rich got richer, the poor became poorer, and the middle class was virtually non-existent. Amidst this social and economic disparity, another force was taking root: organized crime. Cuba became a haven for the world's most notorious mafiosi. Mobsters like Meyer Lansky and Lucky Luciano found refuge on the sun-drenched beaches of Cuba, turning the island into a hotbed of illegal activities. Casinos, nightclubs, and hotels became the epicenter of a thriving underworld, a stark contrast to the poverty-stricken lives of the Cuban people. This was pre-revolution Cuba, a country of contrasts, where opulence coexisted with destitution, where the glitter of American influence overshadowed the darkness of corruption and organized crime. It was an era of prosperity, yes, but prosperity that was enjoyed by a privileged few at the expense of the many. But this era of prosperity was not destined to last. In 1959, a seismic shift occurred in Cuba that would change its destiny forever. With the downfall of the Batista regime, a young, charismatic leader named Fidel Castro rose to power, promising to free Cuba from the shackles of corruption and inequality. The Cuban Revolution was a whirlwind of change. The old order crumbled as Castro and his band of revolutionaries, including the iconic Che Guevara, took control of the island. The revolution was more than just a shift in political power. It was a social and economic transformation that would redefine Cuba's identity. In the aftermath of the revolution, Castro implemented sweeping changes across the island. He nationalized industries, redistributed land, and launched ambitious literacy and healthcare programs. The aim was clear: to build a socialist society where the resources of the state would benefit all, not just the privileged few. Under Castro's leadership, Cuba underwent a profound ideological shift. The dream of a capitalist paradise, where wealth was the measure of success, was replaced with a socialist vision of equality and shared prosperity. It was a radical departure from the Cuba of the past, a Cuba that was a playground for the rich and a haven for organized crime. But these changes were not without cost. Castro's socialist policies put him at odds with Cuba's powerful neighbor to the north. The United States, alarmed by the spread of socialism so close to its shores, severed diplomatic ties with Cuba and imposed a crushing trade embargo. The ideological divide between Cuba and the United States was a chasm that would only grow wider in the years to come. The Cold War was at its peak, and Cuba found itself at the heart of a global power struggle between the capitalist West and the socialist East. This turn towards socialism marked the start of a new era, but it also led to the island's isolation. Cuba had chosen its path, and it was a path that would lead it away from the global mainstream, and into a future marked by resilience, defiance, and a unique brand of Cuban ingenuity. In response to Cuba's new political alignment, the United States implemented a stringent economic embargo. This embargo, initiated in the early 60s, was a decisive move intended to pressure Cuba into abandoning its newfound socialist ideals. The embargo, more than just a diplomatic slap on the wrist, was a full-scale economic blockade. It froze Cuban assets and banned all trade between the United States and Cuba. This move, quite literally, isolated Cuba from its biggest trading partner overnight. The effects were immediate and far-reaching. Without access to American goods and services, Cuba's economy took a severe hit. But the embargo didn't just affect trade, it also had a profound impact on the Cuban people. Everyday items became scarce: fuel, food, medicine, you name it. The embargo turned the simple act of living into a daily struggle for survival for many Cubans. Yet Cuba, despite finding itself in the unenviable position of being cut off from the world's largest economy, remained resilient. It sought to forge new alliances, reaching out to the Soviet Union and other socialist countries for aid. These alliances offered Cuba a lifeline, providing the country with much-needed economic and political support. However, these alliances were not without their own set of challenges. The collapse of the Soviet Union in the early 90s sent shockwaves through the Cuban economy. Once again, Cuba found itself isolated and in dire straits. And so, the story of Cuba's isolation is one marked by struggle and endurance. It's a story of a nation that, despite being subjected to one of the harshest sanctions in history, managed to survive. It resisted the embargo, sought new alliances, and fought to maintain its independence. Yet, the question remains, at what cost? The toll of the embargo on Cuba's economy and its people has been immense. The hardships faced by the Cuban people are a testament to the severity of the embargo and the isolation it imposed. Despite all odds, Cuba managed to survive, but at what cost? Fast forward to today, and Cuba stands as a testament to resilience. The island nation nestled in the Caribbean has faced more than its fair share of challenges. Yet despite 60 years of isolation, it continues to exist, to thrive even in its own unique ways. The Cuban economy, though strained, is a fascinating study in self-reliance and innovation. Stifled by the embargo, it has had to look inward for sustenance. Without the luxury of international trade, the nation has turned to sustainable agriculture, becoming a world leader in organic farming. It's a testament to the Cuban spirit, the ability to adapt, to make do with less, and still produce results. Living conditions in Cuba, while far from ideal, tell a similar story of resilience. The housing may be old and the technology outdated, yet the streets are alive with the music of salsa and the spirit of community. Despite the scarcity of resources, the literacy rate in Cuba is one of the highest in the world, and their healthcare system is lauded globally. It's a paradox, a country where the old and new coexist, where the challenges of the past shape the innovations of the future. The effects of the embargo and the enduring isolation can be seen and felt in every corner of the island. Yet they have also forged a nation that is fiercely independent and resilient. A nation that has learned to stand on its own 2 feet, even when the odds are stacked against it. But perhaps what stands out the most in modern Cuba is the spirit of its people. Proud, resilient, and full of life, they are the true testament to the enduring spirit of this island nation. They are the heartbeat of Cuba, the driving force behind its resilience and its ability to adapt and survive. The story of Cuba is a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and adapt. It's a story of resilience, of a nation that has stood tall despite the odds, and a people that continue to dance to the rhythm of life even in the face of adversity. So, what have we learned from Cuba's 60-year journey in isolation? From a vibrant colonial state to a popular American resort, Cuba's pre-revolution era was a time of prosperity and intrigue. Yet the undercurrents of change were building, leading to a revolution that would forever alter the island's fate. Cuba emerged from the revolution independent, but at a steep price, the harshest sanctions history has ever known. The embargo thrust Cuba into isolation, a seclusion that has lasted for 6 decades. But through this isolation, a resilient nation has emerged. The Cuban people have faced adversity with determination and creativity, navigating through challenges with a spirit that is uniquely their own. Today, Cuba remains a land of contrasts, a testament to a history marked by struggle and triumph. It's a nation that's been shaped by its past, yet refuses to be defined by it. Cuba's journey, is a testament to the power of resilience in the face of adversity, a story that continues to unfold even today.